once you love that special person, it's ain't going away at all. I mean, the arguments will always occur, right? But they can't do it. They can't do it all. Anyways, it's top of the hour, 3 p.m. You're locked on to the Clean First Song. We're from 99.9. At this time, we have our 3 p.m. news.
Welcome to WFM's 3 p.m. News. I am your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. First off, on the local scene. The Rotary family in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has donated a heavy-duty printer to the Union Island Secondary School as part of ongoing Hurricane Beryl recovery efforts. Sourced through MAFCOM, the equipment will support the displaced school community with essential administrative tasks, such as printing assessments and the student materials. Severe damage to Union Island forced both staff and the students to relocate. This donation helps ensure that teaching and learning can continue with greater ease in the new academic year. The project was funded by Rotary District 7030 with support from the Rotary Clubs of St. Vincent and the St. Vincent South, the Rotaract Clubs of Kingstown and SVGCC, the Interact Clubs of St. Vincent Girls High School, and the St. Martin Secondary School. It is one of several initiatives undertaken in the past year to support Southern Grenadines communities, including the Rotary Village Doctor, home repair assistance in Union Island, and the support to the Myro Junior Sailors Club with a new boat engine and replacement opti sails. Guided by Rotary's focus on education, health, and community development, this project reflects the local Rotary family's commitment to helping communities recover and rebuild stronger. As part of the Division of Technical Vocational Education, DTVE of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College annual internship, 6 students of the Digital Media and Marketing program were attached to the communications unit within the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry, and Labor. The students were afforded the opportunity to increase their knowledge and skills in multimedia communication within the agricultural sphere for a period of 4 weeks from May 19 to June 13th. The students were engaged in radio production, video editing, photography, and graphic designing. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry, and Labor said it is pleased to collaborate with the Division of Technical Vocational Education of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College to equip these students with the necessary communications knowledge and the skills for their future endeavors. On Monday, June 23rd, the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, CARDI, conducted its second Dasheen fertilizer and spacing trial at a plot in Marfat Greggs. A total of 50 farmers, along with extension officers, were in attendance to observe the demonstration of 2 Dasheen varieties under different fertilizer rates and plant spacing. Different fertilizer types, rates, instruments, and data collection parameters were discussed. The Dasheen varieties are local, common, and Cardi Samona. On to regional news. The Judiciary of Guyana, in partnership with the Government of Guyana and the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, has launched Guyana's first mental health court. The mental health court will provide an alternative approach for individuals with mental illness who are facing the criminal justice system. Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonette Cummins, said through the mental health court, persons with mental illness will experience therapeutic jurisprudence, an interdisciplinary approach to solving legal issues. So the court is not only here to try a case, lock you up, put you into the prisons, and throw away the key. It is a more holistic, compassionate, and healing procedure which we undertake in our various treatment courts, the Chancellor explained, according to a report by News Source Guyana. Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George said the launch of the Mental Health Court marks the beginning of another important chapter in the country's justice system that would see it embracing therapeutic justice as the country strives to be less punitive. Cognizant of the challenges facing citizens, including mental health issues, the court will help offenders to become their own change agents. CARICOM leaders are set to join forces with the African Union in an unprecedented coalition aimed at intensifying global advocacy for reparatory justice in what officials describe as a significant escalation in the campaign for compensation for slavery and colonialism, officials announced on Thursday. According to Barbados Today Online News, the announcement was made on Thursday during the opening of the 31st meeting of the Regional Cultural Committee at the Lloyd Erskine Standiford Center, where cultural leaders from across the Caribbean gathered to discuss policy and finalize plans for CARIFESTA 15. Advisor on Social Development at the CARICOM Secretariat, Beverly Harry Emanuel, confirmed that the region's leaders were moving to formalize ties with the African Union around a shared reparatory justice agenda. Steps are being taken by our heads of government to form a coalition with the African Union for increased joint advocacy on this important human rights movement for justice and development, she said. Emmanuel told delegates the timing is critical following a declaration by the United Nations that 2025 marks the start of the second international decade for people of African descent, and a proclamation by the African Union that this year is one for justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. The strengthened alliance is expected to give added weight to the work of the CARICOM Reparations Commission, which has led the region's legal and moral campaign for reparations since 2013. In news on the international scene, Japan has executed a man who murdered 9 people in 2017, the first time since 2022 that the country has enacted capital punishment. The serial killings by Takehiro Shirashi, dubbed the Twitter killer, had shocked the country and triggered debate over how suicide was discussed online. Shiraishi, then aged 30, lured his victims, most of them young women between the ages of 15 and 26, to his apartment before strangling and dismembering them. The killings came to light in October 2017 when police found body parts in the Japanese city of Zama near Tokyo when they were searching for one of the victims. Shiraishi later admitted to murdering 9 suicidal victims and revealed that he got acquainted with them on Twitter, the social media platform now known as X. He then told them he could help them die and in some cases claimed he would kill himself alongside them. According to BBC News, his Twitter profile contained the words, "I want to help people who are really in pain. Please DM, direct message me anytime." 9 dismembered bodies were found in coolers and toolboxes when officers visited his flat, which was dubbed by media outlets as a house of horrors. And finally, the news at this hour. The U.S. Supreme Court today handed a significant victory to President Donald Trump and future American presidents when curbing lower courts' power to block executive orders. President Trump was beaming as he addressed reporters at the White House briefing room podium, calling it a big, amazing decision, which the was a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law. We hear more in this report from the BBC.
In striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch, the Supreme Court has stopped the presidency itself. That's what they've done. I was elected on a historic mandate, but in recent months, we've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers. It was a grave threat to democracy, frankly, and instead of merely ruling on the immediate cases before them, these judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation. So thanks to this decision, we can now properly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people.
That report from the BBC. And this has been WFM's 3 p.m. News. I have been your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. when we will bring you our next newscast.